Okay, Survivor fans, we are here to talk about the anticipated season 40 premiere of Survivor, Winners at War. I'm Marcus James Dixon here with Susan Wloszczyna and Kevin Jacobsen. And let's just start right away with, of these 20 returning winners, who do we want to win? Who are we hoping pulls out the victory? Susan, I'm going to come to you first, and then Kevin jumps in after that.
I like Sarah the cop, Sarah Wloszczyna, and she was the last woman to have won. And I think it would be good that she breaks that losing streak for the female race and gets another chance to win. Because she was great. I mean, she was,
I loved how she evolved. The first time she played, she got voted out around the halfway mark. And when she came back, she's like, I'm not going to play like a cop anymore. I'm going to play like a criminal. And it worked. She won.
Right. It's a good theme. And what? Is it Kevin's turn?
I didn't know if you were going to do a want and a think will win. Like the differences there.
Let's do our wants right now.
Okay. Well, I guess who I would want to win again is just for how long this guy has been off is Ethan Zahn. Because I think that would be an incredible sort of story to see him, Survivor Africa season 3, that happened in 2001. And he came back for All Stars a few years later. He's been gone for many, many years. It feels like it's almost 2 decades since we've seen him. And I'm so curious to see if he can adapt to the modern style of Survivor, because I definitely think he's also going to be someone who will not be targeted outside of just sort of his reputation of being the nice guy. I just feel like there's so many big dogs here that, they're all just going to target each other, and he might be just left just sneaking on through to the end. So also he's just a great guy, and he's done so much great, charity work and stuff like that. So definitely pulling for him.
I think he'll be in trouble once they hit the merge, but I think you're right. I don't think he'll be a target early on at all.
Yeah. Especially
with some of these other, villains. I think the villains are going to be the first ones out, like the Tonys and the Parvatis, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, the one I want to win the most is kind of obvious. It's Sandra. She's my favorite player of all time. She's the queen. And, she won the first 2 times in Pearl Islands and Heroes versus Villains. She came back in, Game Changers?
Yeah.
And she got on a tribe that kept losing and losing. So she had to play her butt off, and she was out within 6 episodes. And I just thought, if she had been miraculously placed on a different tribe, it would have been totally different. She probably could have won that. So I'm just going to stick with that. I think Sandra is the one I want to win, but I don't know if she can win. I think she's too much of a target.
Yep, she's the only person who's won twice, so technically stands out from this crowd because no one else has.
Right.
So easy first target,
Right, and the chances of her actually winning a 3rd time is that's almost non-existent. But I'm rooting for you, Sandra.
I think Rob and Sandra have an advantage for having been there on Island of the Idols, and they even built that shelter. And I think they were probably, remember the last thing they did, that there was you had to find something in the house? Well, maybe they put secret things there to be their advantages.
Right. So maybe they were building that shelter for the edge of extinction or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's do who we think will win. Take your personal opinions out, and who do you think has what it takes to go all the way and win $2 million? Not 1, it's 2 this year. So Kevin, let's start with you this time.
This is very difficult. I think there's many different ways that this could go. I think, with All-Star seasons, there's a tendency to just go for how Amber won the All-Star season the first time. This idea of the under the radar female who no one sees coming, that sort of thing, like a Parvati in Micronesia. So, I'm sort of tempted to go with like a Michelle Fitzgerald or Sophie Clark, one of those types who are quieter and not as loud with their strategic stuff. But for a season like this, I do have a feeling that winners are going to value people who do make the big moves and are likable. I think it's just going to be one of those things where you need a lot on your Survivor resume by the end, because this is like the ultimate winner season. And so I'm just going with someone who is probably not like one of those top people who will be targeted, but it's still someone who is willing to make big moves, and that is Jeremy Collins.
Oh.
Yes. I just feel like he has all the likability factor to him. He won a more recent season of Survivor, so he knows how to play in this mode. And, he has a good story to him. So,
and when he won, it was unanimous 10-0.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Okay, Susan?
I think Nick Wilson. Because he's another likable guy. He got no votes, right, ever to get kicked off or
something like that.
Yeah. So
wait, I think wasn't he almost voted out in the very first episode?
Yes.
And then after that,
right.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay.
But he played smartly, and he didn't have to be a jerk about it that much. So, and no, it was that season was like a more mature season. Nobody was, except for Miss Jacket Obsession. So.
Angelina?
Yes, I forgot her name on purpose, I think.
Well, I think Kevin's onto something by saying, the underrated people have a better shot. They're not going to be targets at all. But in the end, in the final jury, I don't think someone that's underrated can win. I think it's going to be someone maybe like Adam Klein from Millennials versus Gen X, who will probably make it pretty far. He's not really a physical threat, but he's great with the social game. And he's such a super fan. I think that will come off to the others, and they're going to want to keep him around just to talk about their love of the game. And in the end, he can easily sway a jury. So that's my pick now. That's what I'm going to vote for on Gold Derby. You can make your predictions of who you think will win, who will be voted out first. And speaking of voted out first, Kevin, who's the biggest target or targets heading into this?
Well, I would actually say that, Boston Rob and Sandra certainly have this reputation to them at this point that is going to be very hard for them to even make it to the merge, I would imagine. But the one thing in their advantage is also that they seem to have like a lot of friends, I guess, within this cast. They're always going to charities and making friends with each other, that whole thing. So there's a possibility that one or both could actually make a run for it. I'm definitely worried about probably the most is Parvati. Yeah. Just because, she has this incredible reputation. Also, it's been like 10 years or so since she last played, but people still bring up her name all the time whenever they're talking about like a flirtatious female that they have to worry about, like, oh, that's next Parvati, So I just feel like she has like that villainous edge to her that is just instantly going to make her a target, unless she just keeps winning the immunities with her tribe in the beginning. She's very much in trouble, I would say.
But she can't, she's married now.
True.
So she can't work quite as much, I think. So
unless her husband gave her permission to do it.
Right. Yeah. She has like a legal document. Right. If it makes you win the money, $2 million this time, go for it.
You can Survivor flirt, which is different than, everyday flirting.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Susan, who do you think are some of the biggest targets? Like who could be voted out first, unfortunately?
Oh, well, Rob and Sandra, and they were just on the show. And they're sneaky people. I bet they just went all over the place, just scoping everything out and how they can use it to their advantage.
But did they know when they filmed that they were going to do another one right away? Or how long between 39 and 40, like how many weeks or months was there
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, they said that 40 was filmed several weeks later after the other show ended. So
Okay.
they had some time to be up to something. I don't know if they went back home or not to get new clothes or something.
I also think someone we haven't really talked about is Amber. I think she's got a big target on her back because she's coming in, first of all, as the All-Star winner, which was huge. And she's coming in with a husband. And we know on Survivor, like, pairs are always targeted.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're going to be on separate tribes.
Yep.
I don't imagine the producers will match them up. So Rob won't be able to protect her like he did in All Stars. So I guess Amber could be the first one out. Rob could, Sandra could, Parvati, yeah. All the ones you guys mentioned.
Well, they're like the highest profile, sneaky people. So.
Yeah, and also women tend to be targeted earlier than men normally in the pre-merge.
Yeah.
And the fact that she has a pair going into the game is, that's going to be really tough to get out of that.
Well, what do we think about the Edge of Extinction returning? I know some of us have strong feelings on this, Kevin.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Edge of Extinction. I think it sort of ruins the finality of people being voted out. It makes it, always giving it a second chance. I mean, honestly, if they went just to the merge with Edge of Extinction, I think that would be okay. For me, it's just the idea of someone who is voted out second, just surviving on a separate island and not playing the game for 30 days and then coming back in at the final 5 and winning is just not the show that I enjoy watching. And so we've only seen it once. Maybe things will be a little differently this time. Maybe they'll work out a few kinks. I mean, also the screen time issue. I feel like there's not a lot of great material there with Edge of Extinction compared to, you sort of just want to more be watching the game and the people who have survived. So, yeah.
I preferred, was it Redemption Island? Where they had the duels.
Right.
Yeah.
I prefer that, where you get voted out, then you go to the Redemption Island and you have to battle it out with either one or two people. I think it kept changing. And the loser puts their buff in the fire and they're out for good. I think that's much better because, like you're saying, when poor Chris Underwood won, he only played 13 days out of 39. And fans did not like that. What do you think, Susan?
Yeah, I was not a fan of that, but they have something concerning tokens, and you use these tokens. I have to see what that means, but you can keep yourself in the game or somebody else in the game. I don't know, but it just there wasn't really any great suspense about all this. I mean, there was, what was her name? Reese?
Reem,
I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
But,
I love the name.
But she was like this witch on this island. Anytime anyone else was there, she was mad at them because they voted her out. So she started screaming at them. That was fun for a while, but
yeah.
I like Dream. I think they should, now that they're doing the winter season finally, which we've wanted for years, I think they should do a first person voted out season and bring back Reem, bring back Francesca, I think was her name.
Yep.
Some of the other memorable ones.
Great idea. I would love that. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a ratings grabber necessarily.
Well, for the fans, the super fans.
The super fans, yeah.
Yeah.
They could put it in all access and not the main channel.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm looking at the Survivor racetrack odds right now, and people think Yul Kwan from Cook Islands is the one to beat. He has the best odds to win. We haven't really talked about him much. And then, someone else we haven't mentioned, the person most likely to be voted out first is Tony. Yeah. So who wants to talk about Yul and Tony?
Yeah, I'm curious to see with Yul what happens for him because he is an older school person. Cook Islands is, I guess, considered old school now.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how many friends he has, going back to that idea. I don't think he's that involved in the community, So he might struggle, and he also might struggle to adapt to modern Survivor, but I could also easily just see him charming his way through, because when you watch Cook Islands, he's very charming, very persuasive, and very social. So
Was Cook Islands Parvati season 2?
yes,
Yeah.
it was. So
And Ozzy as well.
Ozzy, yeah. Maybe Parvati was the white person. They had, they split them up by the race.
yeah.
Maybe they're going to have some secret alliance, which I
Sure.
would just love a Parvati Yule bond. That'd be amazing.
Final 2. Let's go.
Okay, Susan, talk about Tony. Remember the liar, cheater, shack builder.
And he also has a really bad tattoo on his shoulder, as I see in the photo. Never my favorite. I like people like, more like Nick than I do the Tonys of the world. So
You don't like the villains.
yeah, but he, yeah. No, I can see why people would pick him to be out first, just because,
Yeah.
I'm still surprised that he managed to win that season. That was just like lightning in a bottle. Just the fact that he could do that, because he was so reckless and so just all over the place, but
Right.
somehow he did it. So
When he came back, he was voted out first, right? It was.
I think it was second. Yeah, but very early.
I
Yeah.
remember him and Sandra were just going at each other's throats, and she prevailed because she's the queen.
And now we'll see what happens this time. Yeah, because I believe they are on the same tribe.
Okay.
So fun.
So they're going to do 2 tribes, right? Not
Yep.
3 or 4? Okay.
Well, that's good. I like that better too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's easier to get to know who's who, and you don't have to go 3 different places.
Right. Well, what they've been doing for a long time now is they'll start out with 2 tribes, and then they'll split them up or mix it up, or
For a little bit, yeah.
it's always hard to remember who's on which tribe after the mix-ups and the swaps and everything.
Yeah, and the names are never that easy to remember half the time or spell.
That's why I like these, all-star seasons when they bring back our favorites.
Right.
But there's a lot of people online in the comments who are like, I want to see new people. I don't want to see returning. It's like, we just had a season of new people. Now give
Right.
me what I want.
And look how well that turned out too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, with last season. Yeah.
so there's no Cochran and no Richard Hatch, and
Ooh, yeah. Talk about
Yeah.
that.
yeah, well, Richard back in the day got to walk around naked and stuff, and apparently, yeah, that was allowed. And nowadays, yeah, you can't go up and rub against Sue Hawk during a challenge. So
Yeah.
I think they learned their lesson, and there was no way they were going to reach out to him. Plus, he's just a shady dude anyway. He wouldn't be fun to watch, I don't think, at this point. And Cochran just decided he would never come back again after 2 seasons. So he won, and he did what he was set out to do, and that's fine. I mean, I love him. I would love to see him.
Right. I respect his decision, but at the same time, this is different than a normal season where they bring people back. I mean, you're up against the best of the best.
That's the best, yeah. But maybe he knows he's not up to it anymore. Isn't he like a comedy writer or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he's doing
busy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a real job. Some of these people don't. Tyson, if you read his bio, he just says he's a son, father, husband, and I guess he doesn't work. I don't know what he does.
Before we go, Kevin, is there any winners you wanted to see that are not here on the list?
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed to not see Tina Wesson from Australia. That was the most popular season. And she is a very likable winner who almost won twice. She came back in Blood versus Water and came in 4th place. So she was pretty close to becoming a 2-time winner herself. And I just feel like she had like that spunk to her that makes her very fun. And it would have been nice to have her representing the super duper old school season. So definitely her. But
Vesepia, I want to see Vesepia.
And Vesepia. Yeah. I know she was a very quiet, very, very quiet under the radar person, so I'm not too surprised that she's not here just for TV, but
Yeah. Well, not everyone wants to be a star again. So
Right.
I'm sure she has a good life. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Please make your predictions at Gold Derby. Each week you can predict who's going home next. And
when is the show coming back? You, my people.
February 12th?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be very exciting. Thanks everyone for watching.